Hey everybody, Rick here from Save vs. BS. We're just coming off Thanksgiving weekend and 'tis the season for flannel, all right? So I'd like to have a conversation, just like a grown-up conversation, without sugarcoating it or pretending that we all have perfect tables where everyone knows exactly what we are doing. This whole idea came to me from a comment on one of my recent videos, Shut the Heck Up. A guy said something like, people cannot imagine mental images anymore. They struggle with the imagination, and that WotC has created a bunch of real-life human NPCs. I get why that line hits. It feels true. A little bit mean. The truth under all that is more complicated. Look, players come from everywhere. Some have never read a fantasy book in their entire lives. Some have never learned how to daydream because they had a messed up childhood. Some people are smart, but they freeze the second another person's eyes land on them. The creative people who are slow to warm up, and some are fine once you get past that first layer of armor. And yeah, some people really can't picture anything without a Netflix overlay guiding them. It happens. But there is something I want to tell you about that, and is that none of that is a moral failing. It just means that people arrive at the table with different tools. They have different scars, different comfort zones. The hobby stretches among all those different types of people. Your job as a dungeon master is not to turn them into something else. Your job is to open the door. And you can swing it wide open. You can light the path. You can even wave them forward like you're trying to get an airplane to taxi on the runway, okay? But you can't walk for them. And you don't get to drag them across the threshold like a bag of wet laundry. I don't want to hurt your DM feelings, but a lot of your players, they do not know what you expect from them. And it's not because they're clueless people, it's because you've never told them. You keep hoping they magically pick up your vibe, like maybe they can smell your preferred playstyle in the air, or get their decoder ring, and decode the intention from the tone of your descriptions. They can't. You make it even harder by filling every silence like you're on some podcast that can't tolerate dead air for a minute. Meanwhile, the players are thinking, I guess he's got it all figured out. I guess he doesn't need my input. I better stay quiet so I don't step on the storyteller's toes. If you want your players to describe things, take initiative, if you just want the players to keep adding to your world, say the f***ing words. You are training these people whether you realize it or not. This might feel a little manipulative if you say it wrong. You reward what you want to see. You don't give them 1,000,000 XP. I'm saying with the world reacting. Watch every video I've ever made. I talk about the world reacting. It's a real thing. You make the NPCs respond, you make clues show up. The scene tilts their way just the right way, and it signals them to keep going. Humans are very simple animals. We repeat what gets us something. We avoid what embarrasses us. Like a lab rat hitting the feeder bar to get a food pellet, or hit a different bar to get a dose of electric shock. We know what rewards us, and we repeat that behavior. A lot of players have been trained to think that the sheet is the law, and the sheet is the list of all possible moves. The sheet is the menu, and they can't order from anything else. They grew up on video games, and pressing the wrong button just did nothing. The old school games where you press the button and nothing happened. Well, look at classrooms where speaking out of turn meant trouble, or they grew up in families where creativity was something to hide. So you stand there frustrated. Why do they keep saying, I don't know what to do? Or they'd say, I don't really see any options here. What the player's really saying is that I don't know I'm allowed to do X, Y, or Z. So you coach them. Gentle nudges. Give them some verbs. Give them some examples. Little push, little nudge. Tell me what you want to try. You don't have to get it right. Just give me an attempt. What makes sense in this scenario? And the world reacts. Now it's just a conversation, not a quiz. Hey, what do you do? Hey, what do you do? Some players will get it after a session or two. Some, it might take, a month of sessions. We play once every week or two. And the sad truth is, some will never get it. None of that means they're bad people or useless players. It means your style runs at a different speed than their comfort level. Some players are wired for structure, clear rules, predictability. You might be an OSR style DM. You are a little bit loose. You rely on the improv, the emergent style. You can respect and still understand that they may not flourish with you. And the part you may not like is that you might be part of the problem. I know. Ouch, right? Someone has to say this. If you paint every scene like you're auditioning for fantasy audiobook gigs, if you keep talking because the silence makes you uncomfortable, if you jump up, I got those standing DMs. I do it sometimes. But you jump up the sound, someone hesitates, you are teaching the player to disappear, to withdraw. Players will not talk if you leave them no room to talk. Players will not invent if you give them no space. Players need to make choices, and they can't do that if you're standing in the doorway like a bouncer. If you want players to step into the spotlight, step the hell out of the spotlight. Just for a minute. Let moments hang. Let awkward silence sit there, because people fill silence with action. You just got to give them a chance. And if they don't, that's not failure. That is information. Stop taking everything as a personal indictment. Sometimes it's just who they are. Some tables simply don't fit. And nobody's wrong, nobody's bad, nobody's broken. You're not the bad guy, they're not the bad guy. You like grit, they like comfort. You like danger, they like safety. You like character choices, they like build choices. Do you see my point? It's mystery versus transparency. You're not on the same wavelength, and no amount of coaching or positive reinforcement or polite nudging is going to change that. And that's where you step up and act like an adult. Sometimes you got to let people go. Let people go, find a table that suits them. Let yourself go find players that respond to how you run a game. You don't win anything by forcing a lousy fit. You only create resentment. Most dying tables do not implode from drama. Of course, I've seen that too. But they die from mismatched expectations, and nobody had the courage to actually say it out loud. But anyway, back to the comment that started this whole thing. Someone said people can't form mental images anymore. And some people probably can't. But that's just not the full story. I've run games here in this pizza shop. You hear the refrigerators running. I've had delivery drivers coming in. Just a million distractions. I've seen the quietest players, the most insecure, unsure people, the ones who apologize when they roll dice, and the ones who stare at their character sheets like it was a tax form. I've watched all of them come alive when they realized they were allowed to try. Step into the fiction without getting swatted down by an overbearing dungeon master. People surprise you when you stop building the entire world for them and give them a little air to breathe. Coax, encourage, reward the attempts, and if they still don't step through the door, you give them honesty. We're not talking about guilt or shame. Just be honest and truthful. Because this table is not a hostage situation. It is a creative partnership. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say, thank you for the time. This is not the best fit. Let us both find a better home for what we claim that we love. My name is Rick. This is Save versus BS. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Drop a comment. What's your favorite pizza topping? And I'll see you in the dark.